Hi everyone. Today I am sitting down to listen to the winning song from the Patreon weekly poll. And as always, I am really looking forward to see what it is that you have chosen for me to listen to this week. Well, the group is the Traveling Wilburys, and the title of the song is Handle with Care. But first, I would like to tell you about this. The Swivel rocker recliner from Flexispot. Remember Flexispot? It's the same company that sent us the dynamic workstation desk about 2 years ago, a desk which he still loves, by the way. Now, this chair exceeded my expectations. I didn't expect this comfort for that price. First of all, it's spacious. Don't let the pictures fool you. It's big enough that I can easily fit my little girl beside me for a pleasant, comfortable story time. One of the things we all know about sitting is that the more variety in your positioning, the more dynamic you're sitting, the less harmful it is for your body. And I love the fact that this chair really supports a comfortable lotus position. Maybe why it's named the lotus chair, perhaps? Which is really great for when I'm teaching online. Reading has become, and I'm currently enjoying Dostoevsky, has become even more addictive. I especially like how well balanced the lotus chair's recline mechanism is, and how easily it accommodates different levels of recline. In fact, the backrest is so sensitive that it even responds to my little girl's weight. Oh, and you want to take a nap? Lotus invites dreamland. Its 360-degree rotation works smoothly even when fully reclined. This chair is made of really nice soft material, which at the same time feels supportive when you sit in it. Lotus comes in a variety of colors and materials. This one we ordered beautifully complements my studio. I encourage you to click this link and check out this comfy Lotus chair today. And now, let's return to the Traveling Wilburys. The Traveling Wilburys were a British-American supergroup formed in Los Angeles in April 1988, consisting of Bob Dylan, George Harrison, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, and Tom Petty. Ooh, I know all those names now, and they're all big names, aren't they? No wonder it's called a supergroup. They were a roots rock band and described as perhaps the biggest supergroup of all time. I guess I'm not terribly surprised by that. Following Orbison's death in December 1988, so he died that year. The Wilburys continued as a quartet and released a second album incongruously titled Traveling Wilburys Volume 3 in 1990. The band members adopted tongue-in-cheek pseudonyms as half-brothers from the fictional Wilbury family of traveling musicians. Nelson Wilbury was George Harrison, Otis Wilbury was Jeff Lynne, Lefty Wilbury, Roy Orbison, Charlie T. Wilbury Jr. was Tom Petty, and Lucky Wilbury was Bob Dylan. Oh boy, so, right. I do know these names now, but now I feel like I'm supposed to learn some nicknames? I won't try to remember it right now. Maybe over time I will get to attach the correct nickname to the correct person. Volume 1 was a critical and commercial success, helping to revitalize Dylan's career. In 1990, the album won the Grammy for Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group. Handle with Care was released in October 1988 as their debut single and as the opening track of their album, Traveling Wilburys Volume 1. The song was written primarily by Harrison, although, as with all the tracks on Volume 1, the writing credit lists all 5 members of the band. Handle with Care was Wilburys' most successful single. So this is interesting. It sounds kind of like the same, a similar approach to the way the Beatles, at least, it wasn't all the Beatles sharing the writing credits, but it was John and Paul always sharing for quite some time the writing credits, regardless of who wrote the song. So it seems like now here, that idea is, again, an important part of the way they choose to work together. Of course, there are good financial reasons for that. But so this was a Harrison creation. This is going to be interesting.
Being beat up and battered around, being sent up and I've been shut down. You're the best thing that I've ever found. Handle me with care. Reputation's changeable, situation's tolerable, but baby you're adorable. Handle me with care. I'm so tired of being lonely. I still have some love to give. Won't you show me that you really care?
So this is interesting the way each, it seems that they're taking turns singing, and I get to hear each voice take a turn. But I want to go back to the beginning first, because this opening riff, musical motif is it has something very strategic inserted in its makeup, which takes a line which could be maybe a little bit low energy and just adds a little bit of a twist to it and makes it suddenly catchy. And yet, because it's so easy to sing, to follow, it feels so natural, in a way so ordinary, that it's very relatable. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just a simple bum 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 bum, and you start feeling like we're just listening to a scale. Let's see if we can even find the scale. Yes, bum ba dee dee dum bum, and by that point we've kind of settled into it and said, okay, bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba dum bum. Even the tone of the guitar is very well. Okay, they were called a roots rock band. I'm going to say it sounds very similar to a folk style guitar sound in many ways, and so that is the first few beats of what we hear. And I'm keeping in mind that this is not only their debut single, but it is the opening track of their first album. So all of that, it could easily have become kind of bland. But what happens after 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, listen what happens. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So after 2, the next note, not only does it skip down rather than a scale, dum ba dum ba dum bum, and we would expect this maybe to follow the pattern. You hear how it's pleasant? Not a lot of energy to it, right? Especially because it's a descending line. Not only is it descending, it's a stepwise descending line. And suddenly we skip a beat. Although we don't really skip a beat. We anticipate a beat. we jump ahead. We get there before the beat. It reminds me of, I don't know, someone walking down the steps and getting tired of walking down the steps and saying, I'm just going to hop to the bottom, the last couple of steps, and not bother with walking the rest of the way. Dum ba dum ba dum ba dum. But there are two elements to it, right? Because one is the fact that we are skipping over one of the notes of the scale. So already we have skipped something. Now we're not exactly skipping a beat, but it gives a sort of skipping sound because it feels like we just hopped over things and arrived early. And we end up with this I wouldn't call it, I'm trying to think how to describe. Not exactly subtle, but it's also not blaring in your face. It's very obvious, it's very present, but it's kind of understated in a way. It's understated humor. It's understated messing with the expectations to kind of give us this little jump forwards, this little skip forwards, where we arrive not only do we skip a note, but we arrive there half a beat early. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and on the and before 3. Because if I were to arrive on 3, 1 da dum ba dum ba dum, and that's just incredibly bland. But to simply move one note half a beat early gives us the syncopation and exactly where we need it, because the syncopation gives us a sort of burst of energy, a leap forwards, a little bit of spring in the step, a buoyancy, a bit of a firecracker pop of life, right when we arrive at the lowest point of the scale. Now, I understand that I've barely listened to any bit of the song, but this stood out to me right away as, that's both incredibly logical and common sense and ordinary and straightforward and practical, the whole makeup of it, but it's also got this little bit of just the right dose of something added, some salt and pepper added to liven it up without making it aggressively so. And it's a great way to give us something which we could either take more dramatically that direction, or if the music requires it, we can back off. It's a very, very flexible and adaptable setup. And then we climb right back up to do it again.
Being beat up and battered around, being sent up and I've been shut down.
Like somebody scrambling up the stairs to do it again.
Handle me with care.
Handle me with care.
Reputation's changeable, situation's tolerable, but baby you're adorable. Handle me with care. I'm so tired of being lonely. I still have some love to give. Won't you show me that you really care? Everybody's got somebody to lean on. Put your body next to mine and dream on. I've been bobbed up and I've been fooled.
I love what I'm going to say is it's a very common sense thing, actually. Again, I come back to this. It's common sense. It's logical. And this is a super group. Each one of these guys has such a big name in his own right. And here they are all together. And it would be, I guess in a way, I feel like it would be so easy to overshoot the mark, to try to do too much. And it becomes just overdone. Instead, I love the element of musical respectability. Maybe I should say classiness about this. There's a restraint in the musical design. Melodically, there is a restraint. They're not showing off all their fireworks. There is an elegance about it, really, I think. And that is something that somehow I feel it very strongly in this, and I enjoy it. I appreciate it. It allows me to not be focusing on one or the other of them doing their little solo moment, although each little solo moment is lovely, and then when they come together, that's lovely too. But it allows me to enjoy the music for the music's sake. And I'm just keeping this all in mind as I recognize that there are some big names, some big reputations, some big careers, some big egos in this band, in this group. And I have heard enough and learned enough in this journey to really appreciate that at this point. This is not just some small band who's getting together and, sounds really good. This is a group of world famous, successful musical professionals, and they are that sense of elegance of kind of restraint and respect for the music. Let the music speak. Let the music sing. Is something that I really am enjoying, not only in the sound of this, in the listening experience, but also this video clip as well, which is also very, very conservative in the way it's presenting everything, but not conservative in a straight-laced manner. I don't mean that. I mean, as I said, this sort of elegance and grace and appreciation of the music and the fact that the music itself should be center stage and not one or the other or even all of the characters here. Is that riff in the background?
Daycare centers and night schools, handle me with care.
Handle me with care. Again, that is kind of, I think I started to say it earlier and I forgot to really say it out loud. That is kind of the line which is the riff itself. Da 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 bum. It's just missing the top note. Handle me with care, handle me with care. Handle me with care. And so that final line of the verse becomes a meeting point and a union point between the instrumental portion and the main riff and then what's being sung melodically. Now back to this idea of classiness about it. What do I mean by that specifically? Notice how the accompaniment is really staying out of the way. We have this nice, consistent drums beat, right? Which is really quite prominent. And we have the guitars, we have the accompaniment, but it is It is staying out of the way.
In daycare centers and night schools, handle me with care. Being stuck in a port, terrorized.
Even that little guitar solo, so short and staying out of the way. Although, I shouldn't say staying out of the way in that moment. It's short, it's to the point. You can hardly call it a solo, it's just more of a little interlude. But, if I listen to it, I hear an incredible amount of expressiveness coming out there.
In daycare centers and night schools, handle me with care. Being stuck
a bit romantic there.
Terrorized, sent to meetings, hypnotized, overexposed, commercialized, handle me with care.
Gotta love the lyrics too.
So tired of being lonely. I still have some love to give. Won't you show me that you really care? Everybody got somebody to lean on. Put your body next to mine and dream on. I've been uptight and made a mess.
Thinking about the way this is all sounding, the stylistic elements of it, and this roots rock. I guess I don't have a clear idea of perhaps the definition of roots rock. I understand now classic rock and some of the other subgenres that have developed along the way, folk rock. I feel like I'm familiar with those, but roots rock, I guess I've heard some roots rock stuff along the way, but it has never really been something that I have gotten a handle on as its own identity. So as I'm listening to this, I'm relating it to what is clear in my mind. And I find myself kind of bouncing around between, okay, folk rock and classic rock with a bit of country flavor. There is an incredible simplicity to this, which is kind of folk style, but at the same time, there is something about it which somehow makes me think that, I don't know, is this where country music got its start? Or there's got to be some overlap there. And it's the simplicity of the harmonic scheme. It's the kind of, shall I say, shaker approach to the music. As I said, the sense of dignity and respect and elegance present in the pure, simple musical elements that exist, which are all very well balanced and very well structured and very well organized. Like, shall we say, shaker music or shaker furniture. You know, some of those architectural, the idea that practical is beautiful. And there's this sort of feeling of that in this somehow. And I've got to do a little bit more. I need to expose myself to a bit more roots rock to really understand, and I should read and understand where it's coming from and why it's called roots rock. Although I suspect it probably roots rock, just in the name, I assume it means going back to the roots and the origins of rock. So probably the folk rock connection is not far out of line. But at the same time, there's this feeling of, this may be going back towards the origins of rock, folk rock, but at the same time, especially the way the drums are so strongly present. I feel like this couldn't have existed back. This doesn't really exist as a folk style. It's too heavy on the drums to be that. It's going back towards the roots of rock, but at the same time, it is shaped by all that has happened, or it's a simplifying, a distillation of all that has happened up until that point. Which again fascinates me with the idea of this being such a big name group. Almost like they're saying, we've done everything. We have changed the world. We have changed the world of music in our careers. We've done all of this. And now this is not about change. This is about distilling everything that we've done and that we love and that we feel down to its purest, most essential elements, and letting that stand up and shine in its simplicity. Somehow that's how I feel about what I'm hearing here. Now, whether that is a fair assessment of roots rock in general, I have no idea of knowing. You all can chime in and educate me and help me with this. But that is how I'm feeling about this whole piece as I listen to it.
I've been uptight and made a mess, but I'll clean it up myself, I guess. Oh, the sweet smell of success, handle me with care.
Is that a bit of harmonica in there? It's so interesting as well, especially when that final instrumental section came in. So I understand this video clip is really taking a nostalgic view of the past. There are things about it, like, well, at the very end here, for example, this traveling Wilburys truck, right? It's like it's looking back to a time past, our early days when we traveled in this manner, or even not an actual lived experience, but again, the sort of go back to the classic days, the days that are far enough in the past that we can romanticize them a bit and look back with affection and nostalgia and forget about all the hardship that and problems that existed at the same time. Now, or this bicycle that comes along here, right there, this bicycle. Isn't that a great classic bicycle? So even at the very closing here, we've got some of those visual elements. But it was interesting to me because when this comes in, it feels like that harmonica is doing the same thing. And when I heard it, suddenly I felt this incredible nostalgic ache for a time past, a different world that really doesn't exist anymore. And it was purely the music that gave me that. It wasn't the fact that I'm watching a video. I feel that even if I close my eyes and hear that, it's such an expressive and poignant way of tugging at our heartstrings a little bit without being really sappy sounding in the process. And it's such an interesting way, and I feel like this entire piece is kind of summed up in that, isn't it?
I've been uptight and made a mess, but I'll clean it up myself, I guess. Oh, the sweet smell of success, and
I love the way you hear him smiling as he sings that. Like it gives him a lot of pleasure to just think of that. I love it. I think there's this incredible charm and beautiful simplicity to it. I'm still coming back to this idea of equating it to the shaker aesthetic. And at the same time, I'm looking at these lyrics and I think they're just great. Been beat up and battered around, been sent up, I've been shot down. Reputation's changeable, situation's tolerable, but baby, you're adorable. I mean, the lyrics themselves are kind of adorable in a way. They have such a great, it's tongue in cheek. It's a bit humorous. But it's subtle. It's not blatant in your face, brash humor. It's back to this idea of there's this element of class. There's this classiness and elegance and dignity about it. I've been fobbed off, I've been fooled, I've been robbed and ridiculed in daycare centers and night schools. Handle me with care. Been stuck in airports, terrorized, sent to meetings, hypnotized, overexposed, commercialized. What an eloquent verse to be singing as a famous artist musician. I mean, basically, this is the story of their lives. Basically saying, I've been all through these life experiences, and even at the end here, I've been uptight and made a mess, but I'll clean it up myself, I guess. I'm going to take responsibility for my share in it. Oh, the sweet smell of success. I am successful. I have somehow made it with luck and hard work and lots of mishaps along the way, plenty of roller coaster experiences, but here I am. I'm one of the greatest. And yet, I'm so tired of being lonely, and I still have some love to give. Won't you show me that you really care? Handle me with care. This handle me with care. I am fragile. I am a human being. I may be overexposed, commercialized. I may be sold all around the world. I may be rich. I may be successful. I may have an incredible reputation, although, what is it? Reputation's changeable. Situations tolerable. That sounds rather understated, tongue in cheek. But it comes back to, I am a human being. And in spite of all of the trappings and packings of success, which I admit has a sweet smell about it, I am a human being who still craves genuine, sincere connection and relationships and love. And it makes me on the same level as everybody else in this world. I feel like, I don't know. It's interesting that listening to this and reading this, I forgot, I lost sight of the fact that this was mainly George Harrison's creation, at least as far as writing. But it's great, and it's a really well balanced. What I mean by saying that, by bringing that out, is that it's another testament to the fact that each of them managed to set aside their own ego and make me feel the music, regardless of who wrote it, of who was singing it, of which voice was in the spotlight. And each one took its turn in the spotlight, and each one sang from his heart and from experience with all his skill. Because after all, they've done it. They are the successful ones. It's such a great, I guess the thing that appeals to me about it is that it is honest, it is genuine, it's sincere, it comes from their own lived experience, and yet it doesn't set them above everybody else. Neither is it whining and complaining about it. It's almost like this is the polished, refined, elegant, respectable, sophisticated isn't the right word, version of the other end of the journey from that one that cracks me up every time I hear it, on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Somehow I feel like these two make great bookends, or a wonderful bright side, dark side, or beginning, ending. Somehow I think they pair incredibly well together. I think it's because that I feel in both of them there is this vibrancy of spirit. And one is just all out there and crazy and makes you laugh out loud. And this one is much more dignified, self-possessed, and yet you still feel the lively spirit and the humor that underlies all of this. Those are the things that are making me say, I love this piece of music, and it's adorable. So that is my first time hearing the Traveling Wilburys. Obviously, with such big names, I'm incredibly curious to hear more of their work in the future and explore more of what they did. Get a little bit more familiar, even with some of their nicknames, and which nickname is attached to whom. But it was a great first listen, and thank you all for choosing it, for voting for it. And I'm looking forward to next week's poll winner, and I'll see you then.